Both playing red countertop. Gerry with a little different twist on things, but a lot of the same old, and look at that start. A turn 1 top for Gerry Thompson.
Now, one of the most powerful cards in the control mirror is Sensei's Divining Top. The ability to just control what he draws. Usually even better than Counterbalance, though we'll see this game.
And it's not even just controlling what you draw like you might think the card does. With all the fetch lands available,
right, exactly.
You just get to pick the cards you draw almost.
You basically get to use the best of Brainstorm every turn. You just get to take the best of the top 3 and keep that one.
It is an incredible card. I remember when it took a while for that card to catch on, but with fetch lands especially, it really picked up.
Right, Gerry's playing 9 fetch lands, so he'll be able to take full advantage of that.
There's a Grim Lavamancer for Gerry. Now, Gerry has Grim Lavamancers. Jason has one more Grim Lavamancer, however.
But that said, Jason's Grim Lavamancer is much less effective due to the Punishing Fires, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I think Gerry has a huge edge in the first game just because of those Punishing Fires. And game 1 is already looking pretty good for him with the turn 1 top. Obviously, it's a little too early to tell, but that top is going to go a long way. All right, Ponder for Jason Golliher.
Looks at the top 3. I believe he has another land, so not too desperate for land here. And, yep, Wooded Foothills. Eyeing that one. But decides on Tropical Island.
Alright, Tropical Island it is. And down comes...
a top of his own.
Okay, that's a top. I could not tell what that was.
Interesting altar there.
Looked like scavenging ooze.
So that's a Sensei's Divining Top, and now the game really begins. Each player is going to try and sculpt the perfect hand. Of course, going to try and land a Counterbalance, but that won't be easy.
This matchup is way different without mental misstep around. With misstep, fighting over tops is a different story, but without it, oh wow, there's a Counterbalance for Gerry Thompson. Jason cannot let this resolve, or otherwise he's going to fall himself into a deep hole. Fall, walk, bam.
And him playing that top looks very awkward now as he is holding a Spell Snare.
Oh dear. All right, well, there's a force pitching a Brainstorm from Jason.
Wow. Gerry, even if that Counterbalance gets countered, very happy to get rid of both Force and Brainstorm.
Yeah, you could tell Jason was a little reluctant on that Brainstorm.
Right.
Or on pitching the Brainstorm.
And, of course, the Lavamancer gets in for 1.
Yeah, gotta get in that damage, yeah.
We'll see that a lot this game, I think.
So, Counterbalance goes to the graveyard for Gerry. Maybe he'll be able to set up another one. We'll see. Tarmogoyf down for Jason. A lowly 1/2 Tarmogoyf. Gerry could kill it if he cracks the fetch land and then removes both cards.
Right, getting that enchantment out of the graveyard will shrink it from, I think... No, actually...
Oh, sorry, I didn't see Jason's.
Right now it's a 4/5.
Sorry, I missed Jason's graveyard. I was looking on the wrong side of the table. Spell Snare on Tarmogoyf.
And interesting that Jason kept the Spell Snare over the Brainstorm. I think a lot of players would have automatically kept Brainstorm there, but this Spell Snare might prove key for Jason.
I think he wanted to fight back against maybe a second Counterbalance.
Right.
Or Tarmogoyf like we just saw. So yeah, Tarmogoyf is 4/5 currently.
Jason topping during his upkeep.
Now, we have instant, sorcery, land, creature, enchantment. No, that's a...
Yeah, so that's a 5/6 Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, that's big.
So already on turn 4, Tarmogoyf is huge.
That just illustrates the power of that card for you.
Yeah, and Dismember will be able to kill it if Gerry so chooses, because he'll be able to remove both creature and enchantment. So we'll see if Gerry can find a Dismember for that Tarmogoyf.
Lightning Bolt on Grim Lavamancer will put an end to that. Do you think if you're Gerry, do you just fling 2 damage at him, get that Counterbalance out of the way?
I think he really has to. Shrinks the opposing Tarmogoyf by 1 power, which can be key. That would shave an entire turn off the clock.
Yeah, and Gerry's going to top. Okay.
Interesting.
Sees Lavamancer, and I think there was a land. I couldn't quite make out the other card.
I think so, too. See what Gerry does here. Maybe he has other plans for that Tarmogoyf. He might use Jace to bounce it or something like that.
Alright, cracks Misty Rainforest. There is Volcanic Island.
Yep, so it looks like maybe he is going to shoot Jason here.
And so he shuffles those cards away, and bam. A Lavamancer, the Nug. Gonna drop Jason to 15.
Although Gerry's thinking about it.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe he wants to keep that counterbalance there.
I'm not sure what the reasoning would be.
I mean, a future Lavamancer,
Sure.
or potentially his own Tarmogoyfs, I guess. But if you're taking damage from Goyf, yeah, he chooses to shoot.
Yeah, I think that's
Jason.
definitely the right play. Plus, that makes all Dismembers live at killing Tarmogoyf. And a Delver. So with that top in play, that Delver's almost definitely going to flip next turn.
Yep, Gerry looks at 3 new cards. I think that's Mountain, Scalding Tarn.
Jace was the third one.
Jace was the third one. Okay, that's a good third one.
Jace is really big right now.
Although it's not as good as it could be. It's just going to get eaten alive next turn.
Right. Gerry's going to need to sculpt a position where he can kill that Delver, then resolve Jace. Otherwise, Jace is just going to be a glorified bounce plus fog, which is not what he needs to get himself out of this.
Cracks open Misty Rainforest.
So we'll see. It looks like he's preparing to cast the Jace, or maybe just wants a fresh shuffle for his top.
Yeah, I mean, he did see 2 lands on top there. Probably didn't want any more.
Right.
And he can pretty much assume that that Delver is going to flip. And that's how much is this? Is that 7 points of damage coming in at him?
That's 7, so that's over half his life total.
Yeah, that is going to be brutal for Gerry Thompson. He needs to find an answer. See if his top 3 cards provide something new. 1, 2, 3.
Would love to find a Dismember here.
Counterbalance, Jace,
Ooh.
top. Counterbalance good, but it's probably a little too late.
I think so. If Gerry can get a position where he bounces Tarmogoyf and manages to counter it on the way down with the counterbalance, that
Sure.
could do it.
Yeah, for example, if Gerry goes play counterbalance, like he's probably going to right here. Yeah, plays counterbalance. And then next turn he goes top, Jace, bounce.
Bounce Delver, leaving top on the top of his deck.
No, but then his Jace just dies to Tarmogoyf.
Right, but he has the second Jace, so maybe,
Yeah, and then
maybe he can find another 2-drop.
wow, yeah, exactly. Leveraging that counterbalance, of course, he has to hope that Jason doesn't do anything else in the meantime.
Right, I
but-
see a Grim Lavamancer right there, which he won't be able to cast, though, because there is a top on top of the deck there.
All right, reveals Dismember, and Delver flips over.
Yep.
3-2, in for 7.
Gerry down to 6 life right now.
Oh man, very precarious position for Gerry, especially versus Jason's deck. Contains Lightning Bolts and Grim Lavamancers.
Right, 2 Lightning Bolts still hiding in the deck, and that Grim Lavamancer on top.
All right, so now Jason's going to crack his
This
top.
is interesting. Is that for a Tarmogoyf?
And down comes another Tarmogoyf.
That's very bad for Gerry.
Oh dear, yeah.
Gerry's lineup play on this next turn should be play Jace, hope Jason doesn't attack him. But I don't think a player of Jason's caliber will forget that.
Yeah, I think Gerry's going to lose this one. I thought he was favored too, but
Yeah, he couldn't find a Punishing Fire, I think was the key. Couldn't find a Punishing Fire, couldn't land a Tarmogoyf.
yeah, the Tarmogoyf getting killed by Jason was gigantic.
Right. I think the key to this game was the Force of Will removing Brainstorm and not Spell Snare.
Which is something I don't think a lot of players would do.
No, I think I would automatically remove the Spell Snare there, keeping Brainstorm because it's more powerful. But that said, not in this spot.
Right, Jason had the foresight to know he needed to get rid of that Tarmogoyf, and he did that exactly.
Yep. Now Gerry will shuffle his deck
And can't concede.
Scoop him up.
Wow, so Gerry's going to head to his sideboard. After sideboard, things get a lot more interesting with Blood Moon entering the fray, and who knows what going on for both players.
Definitely going to be interesting to see what Gerry does. He has the Crows and Grips for the Blood Moon, but no basic forest. That's the only basic land he doesn't have. So
Oh man, gotta float some mana, and with keeping 3 mana up in Legacy is pretty hard to do.
right, that's going to be a little awkward for him. So I definitely see Gerry bringing in Crows and Grip and Pyroblast. Not sure about Flusterstorm. Not sure about the fourth Force of Will. What do you think?
Well, I think we should give away some premium.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Absolutely. Let's give away some premium. Kind of. We'll give it away after the match. But
Sure.
right now, I need you guys to answer a question. Here's how this works if you aren't familiar with the procedure. I'm going to ask a question, and on Twitter, you guys are going to respond with the hashtag SCG Premium.
Right, you see it right here.
Right
also,
there.
at SCG Live if you want to.
At SCG Live if you want. You can put it at Zach Hall.
Sure,
if you
at
want,
Gavin Bear,
if
hey.
you really want to.
Right.
If that's what you're into, I suppose. But we'll choose one person out of everyone who answers correctly at random,
Right.
and that person will win 3 months of Star City Games Premium. We'll be giving away 3 months in the quarterfinals, 6 months in the semifinals, and a whole year in the finals.
Full year. And make sure you get your answer in before this match is over.
Yep, and already a bunch of people who won Premium already this weekend. in the Standard Open. So this is your chance. 3 more shots at winning some premium. Here's a question for you guys. Today, or tomorrow I suppose, is Halloween. I dressed up for the occasion.
As you can see.
What character am I? Tell us on Twitter, and you guys could win a full 3 months of StarCityGames.com premium. Read great articles by Gerry Thompson, who's playing this match here. He'll tell you all about his brand new Rug Counterbalance deck featuring Nihil Spellbomb, Dismember.
I'm sure he'll be writing about this one. This one's interesting. He'll also be writing about the Blazing Shoal deck that he almost played. Probably fortunate for him he didn't. He did top 8 anyway. So tweet that answer, and you can read his articles and his Gerry TV.
Gerry, brand new feature, Gerry TV.
Which is really cool.
Really cool stuff on there. You guys are going to want to check it out. Let's head back to the match and look at the sideboarding here. Anyway, where are we going at? Is he going to bring the fourth force of will? I absolutely think so. You want to be able to counterbalance and top. It's just so crucial.
It really is. Plus, he has the Jace advantage. Jason only having, it looks like 2 Jace after sideboarding, so Gerry has the Jace advantage, meaning he just wants to have as many answers to be as fast as possible, because he knows his long game theoretically should be better than Jason's. And what will he take out, though?
Yeah, he's going to keep in all of his punishing fires, wants all of his forces, all of his Jaces.
Right.
Brainstorm, top, Spell Center, counterbalance, punishing fire, all good for him. The question is, if he wants all of his creatures, he wants all of his Goyfs for sure.
Right.
If he wants his clicks, I think Lavamancer is what goes.
I think Lavamancer is the weakest link. It's strange to say, but it's just not going to do a lot. Gerry's plan is going to be to punishing fire the small creatures out, making Lavamancer a little worse. Plus, I think Gerry will expect Jason to board out some of his creatures as well.
See, how many cards does Gerry want to board in, though? So we have 2 Corrosive Grips and a Force of Will, so that's 3. Does he want Pyroblasts?
He wants them in some number. I don't know about 4. I have to think so. Even if he's taking out something like Counterspell for Pyroblast, that's almost a strict upgrade for him, except against something like Tarmogoyf.
Do you think he would? Do you think that's something he would do? Because looking at a sideboard, sure you can swap the 3 Lavamancers for the 2 Grips and the Force, but what are you gonna take out for any Pyroblasts?
Yeah,
it's a little harder.
This is where I am really not sure. If I'm Gerry Thompson, you have to be both wary of the Blood Moon and the Tarmogoyf. So you have to weigh that against how good Pyroblast is. We might even see him take out 1 Tarmogoyf. Strange it is to say, he might want to shave on that.
I think Tarmogoyf is just too important.
Yeah.
Like last game we saw, he just didn't have any Tarmogoyf. He even assembled top counterbalance and just wasn't enough to make a difference.
Right. Even though he needed Dismember that game, we might see him take it out. Again, not really sure how Jason's going to sideboard, so that's going to make Gerry not sure either.
All right, well, Gerry kept them Lavamancers, so much for that.
So
I guess they do deal with Delver.
They do. Our best guess was wrong. Maybe Gerry's theory was he just has to survive.
Yeah. I'm sure he brought in the 2 Grips.
Right.
Maybe he just didn't bring in any Pyroblast. I think he would bring in the Force here. But granted, you are 2-for-1ing yourself in a control mirror, but the cards that you're hitting are just so fundamentally crucial.
Right. If Counterbalance resolves in this mirror, it's a huge advantage. So let's look at Jason's sideboard a little bit. Definitely bringing in Jace, definitely bringing in Blood Moon, definitely bringing in Pyroblast or Spell Pierce, I think.
Probably Pierce, I think.
Right, so the players just sort of streamlining their decks, adding some Jaces, setting themselves up better to fight Counter Wars, mostly.
Maybe he wants Pyroblast instead of Spell Pierce. I'm not totally sure. I think Pyroblast is better for the most part. Counters all the same stuff, right? Yeah, I think they just do all the same things, except I guess Pierce hits top.
Pierce hits top, Pierce hits Dismember, but that's it.
Gerry plays a Grove of the Burnwells, and down comes Tarmogoyf. And I imagine that Grim Lawmancer is going to crumble on in, lurching for 1 point of damage.
Yep, Jason actually looking at a Spell Pierce in his hand, so does not counter Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, although Pyroblast wouldn't have been much use to him either.
Right.
Brainstorm for Jason. Just 3 fresh cards. I think he's digging for lands. Does find 1. Oh no, he's got a bunch in the back of his hand.
Plenty of lands. Interesting note, he just drew that Brainstorm and slammed it down. He knows he's under the gun here. Tarmogoyf only a 1/2 right now, but definitely going to grow.
Yeah, quickly growing.
So while he decides what to put back, let's try and see Gerry's hand here. There's a Grove of the Burnwells, a Punishing Fire. Wow.
He has the engine. Jason needs to land a Blood Moon, or that engine is going to demolish him.
Right. Interesting to know, no Wastelands in Jason's deck, so only Blood Moon really shuts that off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no Wastelands is a big deal. Of course, you're playing 3 colors, kind of hard to fit that card in.
Yep.
Gerry doesn't even have it, and he's got 24 lands. Does
Right.
Grove of the Burn Willows take a lot of land slots? How many lands is Jason playing? 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 16, only 19 lands. Gerry has a
Wow.
full 5 more lands than Jason. Okay, so Jason bolts down the Tarmogoyf. So,
And Gerry drawing a Jace.
okay.
His game plan might just have changed by drawing that Jace. From beatdown to land Jace.
So now, yeah, Gerry just wants to set up. Plays the second Grove and passes. He just wants to try and set up that Jace, right?
I think so. If he can land that Jace, especially after seeing Jason use a lightning bolt, it's going to be very tough for him to deal with.
Taps 1. Are we going to see Dismember on Lavamancer? That seems not big on the play. Oh, there's a Sensei's Divining Top.
Definitely better than the Dismember right now.
Oh, I guess Jason doesn't have Dismember. I must have misseen that. I think it might be Spell Pierce hiding back there.
Yeah, those altered tops really
Yeah, and the Altered
hard
Top's
to
kind of
tell.
messing with me too.
There we see a shot of both players concentrating hard.
Punishing Fire you, says Gerry. Alright, takes 1. And basically, once again, just a free 1 point of damage. Doesn't seem like much, but just, small little grindy thing over time. Punishing Fire you, pay 1, return, Grove of the Burn Willows.
Yep. And that combined with the Lavamancer can end games in a hurry.
So Gerry could play the Jace this turn, but I highly doubt he's going to. Doesn't want to run it into any kind of counter magic.
Right, that would use up his fetch land as well, which is valuable with Top and Brainstorm in the deck.
Also worth noting, Jason has Daze, whereas Gerry doesn't. So, yeah, tapping 4 mana for Jace is even potentially more disastrous.
Ooh. Do you think he boarded out Daze in this matchup? Jerry's definitely not the kind of player to run into a Daze.
I think it is likely Jason probably boarded Daze. I also think there's some of the weaker cards in this matchup. Gerry has 24
Right.
lands in his deck, so it's more likely he's going to be able to buy time and pay for Dazes.
That's true. I think so too.
Yeah, agreed. Alright, there is Punishing Fire.
Jerry's got the fire.
Indeed, just the one thing, that 1 point of damage every turn. You'd be surprised how quickly that adds up in these control-ish mirrors.
Yep, so Jason down to, I believe that should be 14 and now 13. Jason spins his top at the end of Jerry's turn.
I think you see a Spell Pierce.
Another Spell Pierce.
A land, which he puts on top.
Yeah, it doesn't. Spell Pierces don't do much against Punishing Fire.
Taps.
And spins his top again. He's
And
digging.
the top. Ooh. Oh, she's counterbalance on top.
And Gerry will have to fight over that.
Yeah, I think Jerry's got some counter magic hiding back there. I sure hope for Jerry's sake he does.
Yeah. If they do have a fight over counterbalance, though, that might give Gerry the opportunity to land a Jace.
Agreed. Yeah, that's exactly what Gerry wants, is for Jason to go for counterbalance, fight with counter magic back, and then land a Jace. The question is, can he actually counter that counterbalance successfully?
Right. Hard to tell what's in Jerry's hand right now. But you have to figure he has at least one piece. So Gerry, fetching away. Looks like casting another Punishing Fire, so he is really going after Jason's life total right now. I believe that brings Jason down to 10 life.
And draws a third Grove for Gerry, so he
Wow.
can start doing some real Punishing Fire here. Wow. I mean, he already has 2 Groves, I suppose, but plays his third Grove.
Yeah.
Crashes in for 1 with Grim Lavamancer. Drops Jason down to 11 life. Let's see. 1, 1, 2, 1. Yeah, so Gerry can start Punishing Firing for 2 a turn.
And there it is, the counterbalance.
Alright, yeah, Spell Snare from Gerry.
Very efficient counter, leaves a ton of mana open.
I don't know if Jason has a way to counter that. I think I see 2 Spell Pierces in his hand,
yeah.
which is not going to be good enough to deal with that.
Again, Gerry having 24 land is just huge.
Yep.
Oh, another counterbalance. So Jason can just let that one be countered because he has another waiting in the wings. But in the meantime, Punishing Fire, tick-tock, tick-tock, says Gerry.
Jason also has another Spell Pierce in the top 2 cards of his deck too, so we can set up for the triple Spell Pierce
Right.
defense if necessary. Yep, so Gerry Punishing Fires Jason, brings it back. Also worth noting that the Grim Lavamancer, even if Jason gets down the counterbalance, the Lavamancer could potentially deal some damage as well.
Right, always the problem with counterbalance. It does not deal with what's in play, just what's on the stack. Gerry mulling over his options, looking at that Jace.
It is so tempting, I'm sure, for
I think
Gerry Thompson. 3 mana of Jason's is tapped.
Right. I think Gerry is going to make the correct play here. Respect his opponent's 2 open mana and just realize that he has the inevitability.
And there's another counterbounce for Jason. It's actually a really good play by Gerry because Jason's counters are Daze, Spell Snare, and Force, so the open mana actually doesn't really mean much.
Right.
And Spell Pierce too, but I mean it doesn't really, it's not indicative of a ton, except for maybe he has like a couple Spell Pierces. So Jason goes for counterbalance.
Right, and at this point, if Jason's life total of 9 is correct, he can respond by punishing fire Jason down to 7, it looks like 6, and Grim Lavamancer, I mean, he has 5 cards in his graveyard. So we'll see which line he takes here.
Also, the punishing fire means that Jason needs to keep a 2 around, although you don't want to keep giving him that life if you don't have to.
Right.
All right, so Jason Spell Snares the punishing fire.
Yeah, he realizes that he's going to be almost dead here.
Interesting. He knows that Gerry has counter spells in his deck too, or a counter spell in his deck, and so by wasting that spell snare in response to the counterbalance, it would have given Gerry a window to potentially counterspell the counterbalance, but that's not what goes down. So yeah, Gerry resolves punishing fire number 2.
Bringing Jason to 8, I believe.
Yep. And even, stuff's going to end up in the graveyard because of that counterbalance when things get countered. So if Jason doesn't have a way to deal with that Lavamancer, it could do quite a bit of damage to Jason, actually just kill him 4 activations away.
Right.
Yep, and there we go, 1 activation. Jason down to 6 life.
And Jason has a Lavamancer in hand, but Lavamancer wars are determined by who gets his first.
Yeah.
And that would be Gerry.
Now, if he plays the Lavamancer, he can buy himself a couple turns, though, or at least 2 cards in the graveyard.
Right.
Off of Gerry, some time to dig for a lightning bolt or something.
And Gerry just has a ton of lands here, drawing a basic island. But he's going to go for Jace. Boom.
All right, time for Jace, and Jason has double Spell Pierce in his hand.
Yeah, not quite enough. 4 lands untapped.
He's always going to top. Sure, see if he finds a Jace hiding there.
Only 3 in his deck.
And he doesn't. That's a Dismember, right?
I think that is a Dismember.
Well, no, he doesn't have Dismember in his deck. It can't be Dismember. Is that another one of those weird altered tops?
It must be. So Jason's going to crack his fetch, go searching for only one of his 2 Jaces right now, so not very likely that he finds one.
Oh, he does have Dismember.
Oh,
there
okay,
it is.
okay.
It was just hiding in the middle of his spells.
Yep, so he's going to try and find one of his 2 Jaces, and he doesn't look like he did it. That Jace is going to resolve. And that will be huge.
Wow. Yeah, Jace down.
So even though one player assembled counterbalance top, Jace just goes right over the top. Going to start building a huge advantage for Gerry.
And Gerry wisely waited until he had 4 extra mana to pay for double Spell Pierce.
Right.
Well played, well played.
Gerry definitely brainstorms deducing that if Jason had a lightning bolt, it would definitely have to be used on the Grim Lavamancer. Since Jerry's at 5, or since Jason's at 5, effectively 3.
Mm-hmm. And Jason's also tapped out now too, so Gerry could maybe get around that counterbalance top lock.
Right. So it appears as though he only has a couple 1-drops in hand. Spell Snare and Pyroblast, I believe.
Yeah, not gonna do it. Jason activates his top. Picks the card he wants.
Yep.
Looks like his hand is Lavamancer, Snare, land, one more card. Can't quite make it out. So Crackswood Foot.
Going down to 4. Very dangerous life total. But he needs to find something to deal with that Jace.
And there's Volcanic Island. Yeah, he does need to find an answer to that Jace. Even though Jason has his combo active, I think Jace is likely to trump that going long, especially with an active Lavamancer.
Right. I mean, it's both a win condition. It can control Jason's threats. And, oh, wow.
Jason just concedes.
No answer to the Lavamancer.
No answer to the Lavamancer, so Gerry would have dealt 2 at the end of Jason's turn, 2 on his turn. And Gerry wisely left in the Lavamancer. We said to take him out. Yeah. Gerry left him in. They took down the game, so can't blame that.
We have to sort of eat our words there.
They are delicious, though.
So what could Gerry have taken out of his deck?
We didn't see many counterspells from that game. Did he cut some forces?
Maybe. I mean, you are 2 for 1-ing yourself, and maybe Gerry thought on the play his counterspells would be enough. He is going back to his sideboard.
And changing up for the third game. Once again, as we've talked about this weekend, switching up your sideboard for the third game is usually a pretty good call.
Right. Spell Snare on the draw will be huge for Gerry.
Agreed.
As it was for Jason. But we'll see how Gerry sideboards.
And I think he took out Vendilion Clicks. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't bring cards in too. I mean,
Maybe not. We didn't see Tarmogoyf or Vendilion click that game.
I gotta feel like he left Tarmogoyf in though.
Yeah,
That just seems awesome. Plus, he can win Tarmogoyf Wars with Punishing Fire.
Right, at least in some number. If the Tarmogoyf is a 5/6, Gerry really has no good out to Tarmogoyf, save for countering it, of course. But an on-the-board Tarmogoyf, very hard to deal with for Gerry.
Yeah, I imagine Gerry left his Goyfs in. I'm not sure what he took out. It's possible he maybe shaved the